Nancy, boy.
Esther.
Stop putting your hands on me. That's right. Now, all right. Hands on me again. I promise you, I'm kicking straight in the left testicle.
You kick me in my testicle, boy. I know something. Make it a third chapter.
Put your hands on me again.
Actually, yeah, I want the second chapter. Let's look at about verse 16. Esther 2 and 16. But watch your mouth, though, man.
Watch your hands.
It says, so Esther was taken under King Xerxes into his royal house in the 10th month, which is the month of Tebab, in the 7th year of his reign. Now you see we have a name for the 10th month. What's the name of the 10th month, y'all? It's called Tebab. I mean, we just looked at it there. But continuing on. He said, and the king loved Esther above all the women, and she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti. So now we just sit there and look at it. It said Xerxes loved Esther more than all the virgins. What do you think that could be referring to here? That's Esther, 2nd chapter. Now we're in the 17th verse. Let's go ahead down here and let's look at Deuteronomy 7 and 1. Hold this Esther 2 and look at Deuteronomy. He said he loved Esther above all, and she obtained favor and grace. What people obtain favor and grace from the Lord? From the king. Y'all don't know what people obtain favor and grace from the king? Unbelievable. Deuteronomy 7 and 1. Well, not 7 and 1, probably about 7 and 6. Silence. Deuteronomy 7 and 6. For thou art a set apart people, a holy people under YAH thy God. YAH thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. YAH did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people, but you were the fewest of all people. But because YAH loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, YAH hath brought you out with a mighty hand and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Now, when we sit here looking, remember how we dealt with last night, how because of what Mordecai did, the people were saved. You know what I'm talking about? And now he's sitting here again talking about that I saved you, and I love y'all, and it's going back to Esther 2. Look at it. It said he loved Esther above all women. So when he just sat here and said he loved this people above all people on the face of the earth, who is he talking about? He's talking about Israel, is he not? He's talking about the sons of Jacob. And he said, I loved y'all because I swore an oath to your fathers. I made a promise to them. And we need to always keep that in mind. See, he had us go there for a reason. Because we got to keep something in mind. Look at Deuteronomy 9. I want y'all to keep something in mind. Because it's nothing wrong with you being happy to knowing that you're an Israelite. That's cool. That's fine. That's well. But I want y'all to keep something in mind. Deuteronomy 9, about verse 3. Just want y'all to keep this in mind. He said, understand therefore this day that YAH thy God is he which go before thee. As a consuming fire he shall destroy them and shall bring them down before thy face. So shalt thou drive them out and destroy them quickly as YAH has said unto thee. Speak not thou in thy heart that YAH thy God cast them out from before thee, saying, for my righteousness have YAH brought me in to possess this land. For the wickedness of these nations doth YAH drive them out from before thee. Not for thy righteousness, or for the uprightness of thine heart dost thou go to possess their land, but for the wickedness of these nations YAH thy God doth drive them out from before thee, that he may perform the word which he sware unto thy fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Understand therefore that YAH thy God give thee not this good land to possess it for thy righteousness, for thou art a stiff-necked people. So now you have to sit there and look at something. He said y'all not getting the land for nothing that y'all done did, but because I swore an oath to these people and they stiff-necked. Y'all know the verse people love to use when you tell them you can live right. You know the verse people love to use when you tell them you can be righteous. Anybody know that? I'll narrow it down. It's in Isaiah that people love to say. No, Isaiah 64. You got a general idea? That's what Nicole just said, but that's not what we're looking for. And that's actually in no, it's something else. It's you gonna see when we read it. You gonna see Isaiah 64. Isaiah 64 and about verse 6.
Yeah, that's all.
No, they say this one here too. No, I know. I'm saying. I remember Marie hit me with this one time, and I didn't look at her like she was a retard. Isaiah 64 and 6. He said, but we are all as an unclean thing, And all our righteousness are as filthy rags. And we do all fade as a leaf, and our iniquities like wind have taken us away. That's what people like to quick to say, right? When you like to say, oh, our righteousness is as filthy rags. You ain't never heard that? I've heard a lot of people say that.
Yeah. But like I said, pretty people, they use the Romans. That's the one they tell you.
You know,
That's the one.
I've heard a lot of Christian people tell me that our righteousness is filthy rags. Israelites too. But I want y'all to see something. Look at 1 John 2. Because remember what he said? Because he said, you hear what he said? All righteousness? You heard what he said? All righteousness is like filthy rags. Did you see when he said in Deuteronomy, he said, don't think I'm doing this for your righteousness? So you got to look at something. Let's see what the righteousness of God is. 1 John 2 and 29. Look what he tell you. 1 John 2 and 29. He said, if you know that he is righteous, you know that everyone which do righteousness is born of him. So if you know the Messiah is righteous, then everyone that's born of him, they're going to do righteousness too, ain't it? Would that make sense? Look at the 7th verse of the 3rd chapter of this very same epistle. And look what he said, because I need y'all to hear this here. He said, little children, let no man deceive you. He that do righteousness is righteous even as he is righteous. Don't let nobody lie to you now. That man say, listen what he said. He said, don't let nobody lie to you now. If you do righteousness, you righteous just like he is righteous. So if you're doing righteousness, that means you're born of him. And that means you put him on. And what's the righteousness of God? Anybody know what the righteousness of God is? Just look at Genesis 15 and 6. And we're a little off track. We'll tie it all in together. He took us this direction for a reason. Yeah, and it's just hit my mind why the reason why we're going in the direction that we're going. Genesis 15 and 6. He said, he believed in Yah, and he counted to him for righteousness. And he said unto him, I am Yah that brought thee out of Ur of Chaldees to give this land to inherit. And he said, Yah, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? See, now how we going to sit here and say, now remember what he said in Deuteronomy 7, that he brought us up out of bondage so we can enter into this land. Now let's look at John 8 and let's look at something the Lord said. That was Genesis 15 and 6. So the righteousness of God is faith in the Messiah, right? So you know what Romans 13 tell you, to put on Yahshua the Messiah, put on the Lord. So you won't fulfill the lust of the flesh. So that means that's what you need to be doing to be righteous. You need to put on the righteousness of God, which is the Lord. Because that's what people use as an excuse. Our righteousness is as but filthy rags. You're right. My righteousness is. God's righteousness is not, bro. That's the only way you go. Because remember, that's what he said. Don't think you get in this land for your righteousness, right? He said, I'm putting these people out because they wicked. And I swore oath to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Were not those men considered to be righteous? Because they believed God and obeyed him then. See, the reason why we're not going to be considered right, because we don't believe God and obey him. That's where the problem comes in there. But look at John 8 about verse 36. Or make it 34. Y'all done heard him, folks. Listen what he tell you. Say, Yahshua answered them, truly, truly, I say unto you, whoever commits sin is the servant of sin. The servant abide not in the house forever, but the son abide forever. So we know full well, he said, I got to free you from this bondage for you to be able to get in the house. If the son therefore shall make you free, you shall be free indeed. And he said, I know that you're Abraham's seed, but you seek to kill me because my word have no place in you. See, that's what happened in the wilderness, did it? Did that word have a place in them? Did it have a place in it? Now we just started at that because he said he looked at Esther and he esteemed her above all people, above all the women that were there. He esteemed her above all. See, look at Isaiah 40. Let me show you where he say that again. And we'll come back to, I think, Matthew 15. So what's the purpose of the Lord esteeming us above all people? It's because of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Without Abraham, this people is done. Y'all need to understand that and know that. Without without them men, this people here done. I say Isaiah 40 because I just heard somebody saying this here. Isaiah 40 and 17. Let's see if he just said Israel was just counted in this here, or was everybody counted in. Look at what he said. He said here, verse 17, he said, all nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him as less than nothing and vanity. Now, did he just say Israel and then the rest, and then everybody else, or did he say all? Wouldn't Israel be counted in all? He said all people. It counted to him for nothing. You're vanity. Because you around here and you counted for him for nothing when you're doing stuff you ain't got no business. The worthlessness of committing sin and just doing stupid, retarded things. You know what I'm talking about? That's vanity. Does it make any sense to even commit vanity or walk in vanity? It could cost us our life. Let me see something else. Because look what the next verse says. This is why he's saying this here. He said, to whom will you liken God, or what likeness will you compare to him? The workman made a graven image, and the goldsmith spread it over with gold and cast silver chains. This is why he's saying this. He's talking about idolatrous things. You know what I'm talking about? This is in Isaiah 40. That's why he said this. He wasn't saying this like all the nations don't mean nothing to me. He said they counted nothing to me because they worship false gods. You know what I'm talking about? It's in verse 19 now. See, look down here about verse Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's talking about, because and what do people like to do in these days and times? They like to walk with their crescent star and moon if they're a Muslim. They like to walk with their cross, or they like to walk with one with he on it, or they Caesar Borgia piece. You know what I'm talking about? Whatever case may be. Walk around with their gods overlaying with silver and gold. He said, he that is so impoverished that he have no obligation choose a tree that will not rot. He seek unto him a cunning workman to prepare a graven image that shall not be moved. You know what I'm talking about? See, this is vanity for us. This is the stuff that got us cut off. Because see, now when we doing that, that's our righteousness, isn't it? That's not the righteousness of God. There's no way you can get in the house with that. And he's very serious about that. He has no desire for us to be doing these type of things. But see, look at Matthew 15. Because I went there for a reason. Then we get back to Esther 2 and the root of the mouth. Look at verse 24. Well, actually in verse 21. Look at verse 21. Matthew 15:21. It says, then Yahshua went thence and departed in the coast of Tyre and Zidon. And behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast and cried unto him, saying, have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with a devil. But he answered her not a word, and his disciples came and besought him, saying, send her away, for she cry after us. But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Then came she and worshipped him, saying, Lord, help me. But he answered and said, it is not meet to take the children's bread and cast it to the dogs. She said, truth, Lord, yet the dogs eat of the crumbs which fall from the master's table. Then Yahshua answered and said unto her, O woman, great is thy faith. Be it unto thee even as thou wilt. Now he was sitting here letting you know, I love my wife above all. I didn't come here for the rest of you women. And that's what he's sitting here telling you, I came for my wife. But guess what? This other virgin to the side say, I trust and believe in you enough to, well, look here, I take the crumbs and all. He said, you know what? I'm going to do that for you. Does that sound like he talking about nations are less than nothing when he sat here and told this woman she was a dog? Because that's what he just told her. Because see, in Ecclesiastes, he said it's better to be a living dog than a dead lion. You know what he was saying on that now? He said it's better for a Gentile who's going to walk in the word than to be an Israelite who is a sinner. Because, them people got space to get in too. I don't really not say that because of what we just sitting here talking. Because, a lot of Israelites don't want to sit here and tell you that these people got space to get in. Don't they know from the whole time since this man went back to heaven to this very moment, these people got space to get in? Remember how we read in that Ezra where he was showing that from the way back then, that the people of the land became Jews? How can somebody become a Jew if they wasn't won by blood? If they hadn't circumcised themselves and joined themselves to Jews? I mean, we know that. You aware of that, right? You aware of that, ain't you? Any of y'all aware of that? Because niggas go, oh, there's no such thing as spiritual Israel. You can say what you want to say. But if them people convert, the law say, do y'all know what the law say about that? As ye are, so the stranger shall be, right? So that means if you a Jew, what the stranger gonna be? What he got to be? Anybody know? If I'm a Jew, I ain't talking about my blood now. I'm talking about I'm a Jew, meaning I'm circumcised in the heart. I'm a Jew, and the stranger got to be as I am. This is what the law say. Then what the stranger gonna be? Anybody got any idea? Anybody want to help me out here? Anybody? Exactly. That's all. I just wanted somebody to confirm that. Everybody looking at me crazy. I mean, I know y'all know, but help me out here. You get a little help. Got me on stage, I just hear crickets. It got me feeling like how Stewart was when he had that bad stand-up routine. You probably didn't see that episode. I saw a lot of those episodes in prison. Them niggas watch that show all the time. You know what I'm saying? And before I got in the word, it was definitely funny. So I seen all the blasphemy they were doing. Then I couldn't watch it anymore. Because I just got disgusted. Go back to Esther the second chapter. I ain't gonna lie. I didn't watch it now. It just tripped me out. He already know. We know we clown about that one part. Where's my money? Because that nigga crashed that glass in his face like this here. And guess what? That's how America do us, don't they? Crash us in the face. Where my money at ain't. And guess what they tell you after they crash in the face? What they tell you, Dwight?
That's how it happens.
That's how it happens. That's how it happens. That's how they say. That's how it happens. Look at verse 19.
Chesticles.
You got chesticle cut? That's real. I'm just going to leave that alone. We're in verse 19 of Esther, the second chapter. He said, when the virgins were gathered together the second time, then Mordecai sat in the king's gate. Esther had not yet showed her kindred, nor her people, as Mordecai had charged her, because Mordecai told her not to tell nobody she was a Jew. For Esther did the commandment of Mordecai, like as when she was brought up with him. In those days, while Mordecai sat in the king's gate, two of the king's chamberlains, Bigvath and Teresh, of those who kept the door, were wroth and sought to lay hands on King Xerxes. And the thing was known to Mordecai, and he told it unto Esther the queen, and Esther certified the king thereof in Mordecai's name. And when the inquisition was made of the matter, it was found out, therefore they were both hanged on a tree, and it was written in the book of Chronicles before the king. So now we remember what I told you last night, we were going to show where the beef started at. This is where the beef started at with Mordecai. He did a righteous thing. He let it be known they plotting on the king then. Now we know we can't read nowhere with somebody coming up telling the Lord that they were going to kill him, but the Lord knows these people want to kill him. You know what I'm talking about? But this is where the hatred became in that, because these men were wroth with the king unrighteously. King ain't did nothing to you, but yet you want to do something to the king. See, now you can begin to see the parallels with the Lord, because the people had a problem with the king. The king hadn't did anything, did he? But they wanted to kill him. And y'all got to sit there and look at this here. When you walking in the king's name, they going to want to kill you too. Y'all understand that? See, look at Matthew 10. Matthew 10. I think that's what I want. No. It's Matthew 12, actually. Matthew 12 and verse 25. All right, then. Appreciate that. Matthew 12 and 25. Listen to what he say. And Yahshua knew. Well, actually, verse 24. And he says, but when the Pharisees heard it, they said, this man doth not cast out devils, but by Beelzebub, the prince of devils. And Yahshua knew their thoughts, and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. If Satan cast out Satan, he's divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? And if I by Beelzebub cast out devils, by whom do your children cast them out? Therefore they shall be your judges. But if I cast out devils by the Spirit of God, then the kingdom of God has come unto you. See, now you have to sit there and look at that. Because, all right, Nicole had a situation last night. Young lady told her, ain't it a sin for you to eat chicken? You know what I'm talking about? And they sitting there telling them, basically, they want to try to call this man a sinner by saying he casting out devils, relieving people from oppression. Now, he's doing a good work. Now, the same thing we're going to read where Haman had a problem with Mordecai is because he did a good thing, didn't he? He's sitting here saying, he letting Esther know, look here, these dudes plotting on killing the king. She let the king know, hey, my uncle done told me, hey, Mordecai letting it be known, hey, these dudes want to do something to you. We gonna kill him. Well, this man out here healing people, and they like this here, you doing it by the devil. Could you understand how that is? You working and work by the power of God, and nigga tell you doing it by the ruler of the devils? How would you be able to take that? Could you be able to take that if somebody told you something you were doing it by the power of the devil, and you were doing good? How would you feel about that? I'm asking you. All right, see what answers. How do y'all would feel about that? You casting out devils, somebody come and tell you doing it by Beelzebub. But you see the key thing of what he just told. What did he just tell him right here? He said a kingdom divided can't stand, right? Now look at James 1. Just because we had this conversation earlier. And he touching on some lot of things, but Lord willing, all this stuff gonna tie in together. But you see what he told him. But see now, you see how he just bashed him and crashed him. He said your children gonna be judged because he said if they cast out devils, then that's gonna be a testimony against you. Then you know what I'm saying? The reason why they were so wicked and they hated the man so bad they didn't even want to acknowledge that the power of God was doing this. And y'all have to look at it the fact that when you doing things properly and according to God's word, people gonna be so hateful and so mad at you that they're gonna be willing to call you devils and seek to do you hurt. because they have a problem with God. And y'all need to understand that. Y'all need to learn to stop. Don't take things personally when it comes to this word. Y'all hear me? Don't take things personally. But look at James 1 and 5. Make it 3. He say, knowing this, that the trying of your faith work patience. See, y'all need to know that there. When y'all being tested and proved out, it's for you to learn some patience. Because I know some of y'all ain't got no patience. Some of y'all ain't got no patience whatsoever. You want stuff to happen when you want it to happen. You want it to happen right then. The man said, I got to test you out so you can learn some patience. He said, but let patience have her perfect work, that you may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. That's the purpose of patience. So once it's come to completion, you whole. You ain't needing for nothing. You want the quick fix. Hold on one second. You know, it ain't no quick fix. Not with the Lord. It ain't no quick fix with things in the world. I don't know why we think it's going to be a quick fix with things in the spirit. It's all good. You got to learn how to get it right, man. You got to learn how to get it right. But listen to what he tell you. He said, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that he give to all men liberally and upbraided not, and it shall be given him. But let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. For he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea driven with the wind and tossed. For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. The reason why a lot of y'all can't get right, because you're double-minded. You're unstable. Y'all done seen ways before then. They go any which way on. They can take you any way they want to take it on. See, when you want to sit there and you want son of the Lord, you can't be wavering. You see what Mordecai told Esther's son, she didn't waver. She did exactly what he told her to do, didn't she? Didn't doubt him. She trusted his decision making. She trusted his wisdom, and she did as she was instructed. You know what I'm talking about? So you have to sit there and look at this here. Why y'all doubting and not trusting in the Lord when he instructed you to do something? No, she didn't question anything. He told her, don't tell nobody you a Jew. See, we didn't read the whole thing in Esther, the 2nd chapter. He gave her specific instructions. Go back to Esther 2 and look what it said. Look what it said. Look what it said that how she moved. Look what it said right here about verse 20. Look what it said. It said Esther had not yet showed her kindred nor her people as Mordecai had charged her. For Esther did the commandment of Mordecai like as when she was brought up with him. She did exactly what she didn't question nothing. Just like you've been telling me what to do since I was a child, I'm going to follow your instruction now. That's why if you go back and look in Proverbs, what does he say? Train up a child in what? And the way that they should go, and they won't depart. See, the reason why we be so quick to depart from the Lord, because we were never trained up as a child to learn to trust on him and lean on him and don't die. That's why the man say, you ain't going to get nothing from me. That man say, well, if you ask for something, me ask believing that I can accomplish it. And don't be wavering either. Don't be doubting if I can or I can't. They say, I ain't going to do nothing for you. Because when it comes down to it, because you ever seen people who are unstable? Any of y'all know anybody or known anyone who was unstable? That you didn't know what they expected them from day to day? You ever been around people who are unstable? You ever been around people who are unstable? Hey, at least you're honest about it. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't mad at you. You know what I'm talking about? Any of y'all know people who are unstable? Anybody who's ever been unstable, who asked y'all to do something for them and you were like, I ain't doing nothing for that nigga. Has anybody unstable asked you to do something and you were leery about doing something for them? Especially people who are unstable, they be like this here, you can loan me some money? Shoot. I know this nigga might pay me back, he might not pay me back. You know what I'm talking about? So you have to look at that. When you asking the Lord for something, and he directing you to do something, and you doubting and you want, man said I can't do nothing with you. Man said kingdom divided itself is going to fall, ain't it? That's why James told you in another part of his epistle, purify your minds, you and get right, you double-minded. It ain't good to be double-minded. You know what I'm talking about? It's not good to be double-minded at all. Y'all know why is it not good to be double-minded? Why do you think it ain't good to be double-minded? Yeah, you're not sure of yourself. And when you're not sure of yourself, guess what that means? You're going to do this here. You're going to break this one here. Go to Proverbs 3. This is what's going to happen when you double-minded. Verse 5. This is what's going to happen when you're double-minded. Listen to what he says. He say, trust in Yah with all thy heart and lean not unto thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. See, that was the whole thing with Mordecai and Esther was doing then. She knows my uncle is a Jew. I'm going to take his counsel. See, the thing when she was talking about, she didn't question it. See, that's what problem with people. That's why God don't do nothing for a lot of people. Because when God tell you to do something, to move from what people want, well, why should I do it? Remember I used to tell you, Marie's like, how do I know that's the Lord or not? He ain't going to do nothing for you. He don't do nothing for you. Where can we read Abraham questioning? Did Abraham question him when he told him to leave? Did he say, Lord, I need to go? Should I go? All he said is, how am I know I'm going to inherit it? He said, this is how you going to know you're going to inherit it. Is that questioning him, or is that saying, how am I know when you're going to bring it to pass? See, go back and look at Genesis 15. He said, how am I know I'm going to inherit it? Look what the Lord told him. It's funny because I seen dudes having a show today talking about, is it a sin to call Yah or Yahshua the Lord? Which is, I think, got to be the most asinine thing I've seen in quite a while. No, but I'm talking about it's been a couple weeks ago. 15 and 8. It's been a couple weeks though. I'm talking about as far as it pertains to that matter. It's been a couple weeks. I said in a while.
It's what, a couple hours? Hour or two?
8, no.
15 minutes.
A couple weeks. He said, Yah, whereby shall I know that I inherited? He said unto him, take me a heifer of 3 years, and a she-goat of 3 years, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. And he took unto him all these, and divided them in the midst, and laid each piece one against another, but the birds divided he not. And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. So if a horror of great darkness fell upon him, what you think happened to him, little Mark? He was more than a deep sleep. Adam was in a deep sleep too. So what happened to Adam? They died. He died. And what is that showing you for? He said, how you going to know you're going to inherit it? Who went into a deep sleep? Yahshua went into a deep sleep. And from him going into that deep sleep, it allow us to be born of him to do righteousness so we can inherit. Look at verse 13. And he said unto Abram, known of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in the land. I just got it. You got to hit me with the guns right there. Huh? He just caught that. Did any of y'all just catch that? So see, my brother-in-law just caught that. Y'all just caught that what I just said? Do I need to break it down even further so y'all make? Because I see he just caught it.
No, that was just good.
Okay.
This is good, but I gotta,
Okay, I hear you. Okay. Hey, verse 13. Yeah, that was funny there. That was a little humorous. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in the land that's not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. He saying, after that, also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward they shall come out with great substance. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace, and thou shalt be buried in good old age. So when he was sitting there telling him that he was going to inherit, he wasn't talking about he was going to get the land, was he? He was talking about your seed afterward is going to get it. And we know when they came up out of Egypt, they got it then, didn't they? And now we know by Yahshua dying, he going to bring us up out of Egypt so we can get it again. You know what I'm talking about? He didn't question. He just want to know how I'm going to know I'm going to have. He said, I'm going to let you die first. And then when I bring you back up, you're going to notice how you're going to get it. Because I'm going to free your children from captivity. And they're going to come out for great substance now. They're going to come up with a kingdom. A heavenly kingdom. A heavenly city. A city made of streets of pure gold that look like transparent glass. You can't even picture that in your head, cuz. I remember one of my homeboys used to, he said, can you picture that? I said, I don't even try. I wouldn't even sit down and try to formulate in my mind what pure gold that looked like transparent glass looked like. That's a waste of time. Besides the fact the scripture said, I have not seen nor ear heard what God has prepared for those that love him. See, that's the whole key thing. See, look at Hebrews 11 and 1. See, this is why Esther didn't question. And then we have to learn not. See, when he say don't question the Lord, because people be quick to say you shouldn't question the Lord. You can question a man to see does he have knowledge and information of the scriptures, but you also have to trust that the Lord is able. How many of y'all believe the Lord is faithful and that he can call the things that are not as if they were and be able to bring it to pass? Hebrews 11 and 6. You make it verse 6. Get straight to the point. Listen what the man say. He say, but without faith, it's impossible to please him. For he that come to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. So if what you doing is pertaining to you diligently seeking after him, you got to believe the Lord is able to accomplish that. See, that's what's a hindrance for a lot of people. That's why y'all scared to walk away from things, jobs, people, places, things. That's why you scared to move out of certain places if it pertained to your soul, if you had to separate. Because you worrying about, well, what if, or what if, or what if. But when he break that down with all these men in Hebrews 11, ain't none of them say what if. When they were going against Goliath, you know what David said? David said, look here, man, y'all delivered me out the mouth of a lion, out the paw of a bear. He said, what is uncircumcised Philistine gonna do to me? And he defined the armies of the living God. This nigga gonna die today. You know what I'm talking about? Because he know who he trusting in. See, you got to know who you're trusting in and who you serve and who you work for. You know what I'm talking about? If somebody work at Microsoft, they pretty much know if my check gonna be in, I'm gonna get paid. You know what I'm saying? They not even worried about that, even though Bill Gates don't run the day-to-day operations no more. He's not majority owner, but they know that money gonna be there. There's no worry about is my check gonna be there. I mean, the time's coming where that check ain't gonna be there. But you know, as far as it right now, they ain't worried about that. You know what I'm saying? We can stamp that. You know, NFL players know my check gonna be there every Wednesday. I think they get paid in the middle of the week. You know what I'm talking about? Them boys know after the end of every game in the NBA, that game check gonna be there. You know what I'm talking about? Or they might get paid throughout the week. I don't know how, you know, some people get paid differently. You know, I seen Kobe get a lump sum. Like he get paid an X amount of money for the first 3 months and then an X amount of money at the end. You know how their contract's set up. But you know, either way it go, my money gonna be there. So you have to sit there and look at it, that if you seek it out of the Lord, you know you work for him. Is he not gonna pay? Do y'all believe that he will pay? Do you think that he would tell you or put it in your heart to go do something and you think it's gonna be to your detriment? I mean, let's just be real with it. Where can we see anybody who served the Lord that he put it in their mind to go do something or told them directly to go do something and it was to their detriment? And they were serving him. I ain't talking about no sinners now. Where can we read that at? See, you got to look at it. Where's your faith at? Remember when Yahshua told his disciples plenty of times, have faith in God. He said all things are possible to him that believe. See, Mordecai, Esther, all them, they believed God would deliver them from the situation that they were in. There was no questioning. There was no let me run to the king. Now, one time are we going to read in Esther that they ran to King Xerxes and said anything to him there. Now, let's go back. Let's see what the people did. Because they didn't trust in no man. They didn't trust in their oppressor. They put their trust in the living God where it ought to be. Look at verse 3. Esther 3:1. He said, after these things did King Xerxes promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, and advanced him, and set his seat above all the princes that were with him. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence. Say, Mordecai ain't even respected. I ain't even bowing to this nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Now, are we supposed to give the president or other world leaders their respect? I give you your respect. I ain't bowing to you, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't kissing no rings. When you sit there and we look at Paul with King Agrippa, did he do all of that? When Herod came to see the master ain't even speak to him. He didn't do all that with Pontius Pilate, did he? You know what I'm talking about? We see these people, we see celebrities, we go haywire. Them niggas ain't nobody. See, look at Job 34. I want y'all to look at something to see how the Lord look at these people. Job 34 and about verse 18. Make it 16. Job 34 and 16. Job 34 and 16. Look what he say. He said, if thou now hast understanding, hear this and hearken to the voice of my words. Shall even he that hate right govern? And wilt thou condemn him that is most just? Now you see what that says? It said, can those that hate right, can they govern? Don't these people who run this country and all these places, don't they hate doing right? Don't they hate God's word? How y'all expect them to govern right? And yet we seek after these people to justify it. Just what we were talking about earlier. He said, is it fit to say to a king, thou art wicked, and to princes you are ungodly? He said, how much less to him that accept not the person of princes, nor regard the rich more than the poor, for they're all the work of his hands. In a moment shall they die, and the people shall be troubled at midnight and pass away, and the mighty shall be taken without hand. Don't you know, what did John the Baptist do? What got John the Baptist locked up? Anybody know what got John the Baptist locked up? You know what got John? You know why she wanted his head? Because he told her husband, I forget which Roman ruler she was married to. He told her husband, it's not lawful for you to have your brother's wife. He had married his brother's wife. He told her, it ain't lawful for you to do that. You don't talk about total ruler. Look at him and say, that's right there telling the rulers and kings, you ungodly, you wicked in. You's a sinner. You can't do that. She said, oh, we got to kill this nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's how sinners do them. You sit there and you reprove them for what? Oh, we got to kill. He didn't go off on her, you stinking whore, you this, that, that. He just say, man, you know that's not lawful for you to do that. This is a Roman. He telling a Roman this. You know that's not right. You know what I'm talking about? See, that's all the thing you got to do with these people. You know what you got to do with these people who rule the law. You got to let them know that, hey, man, you know what y'all doing against God's word. Y'all know that, right? And what else more you got to say? Ain't that enough? You got to walk around with a sign? You got to stand out with a bullhorn? You got to do this? You got to do that? Just look here. Y'all know the way y'all living ain't right. You know that's not lawful. Because you got to look at this here. Most people fear man's law more than do God's law. Can we agree on that? That's my just opinion. That's people. That's my opinion. That's what I see. You know what I'm talking about? Because just like this dude we were talking to. He like this here, I don't feel like God going to go me. I don't think God going to send me to hell. You know what I want to tell him? I ain't telling that there because I don't know him. Like I ain't want to make him feel bad because it's the first time I'm talking to him. But I know I might have told a couple of y'all that. You tell me I don't think, I'm going to tell you that's why you're not paid to think. That's why a lot of people not paid to think. Because you thinking, I don't think that's right. I know it. That's why you're not paid to think. Because if somebody pays you to think their business would be down the drain. You know what I'm talking about? Because see, what you think don't really matter. What did the man word say? Yeah, you're going to burn in hell for smoking cigarettes. Yeah, you're going to burn in hell for being a drunk. Yeah, you're going to burn in hell because you can't control your mouth. Man say ain't no revilers getting in this kingdom, man. So if you obviously you can't control your mouth, that means you're a reviler. You like to go off on people. Like to call people names, like to be disrespectful and speak all foul and sour out your mouth. You can't do that. Now to say you're serving a God when Peter told you when Yahshua was reviled, he didn't revile back. He ain't say nothing back to them people. I'm gonna let this nigga, like I told you, a nigga can make their mouth do what? Fry fish. Nigga say anything out of their mouth. I done seen niggas run their mouth and you'll think that's the hardest nigga walking. Nigga soft as drugstore cotton when they come down to the come down. You know what I'm talking about? What's wrong with you, man? You got fleas or something? Man, I'm talking about he just grabbed it. Grabbed it like he was mad at it. Man, I hate it. But you know what I'm talking about? So you got to look at that now. Don't be worrying about it. You know what I'm saying? Looking at this stuff like this here. Because that's all you got to do. Hey, man, that's wrong. You know what I'm talking about? And what you think? When y'all was doing stuff wrong and somebody told you was wrong, sometimes you didn't want to hear it too, did it? So guess what? Why you be shocked when people respond back to y'all the same way? Don't be shocked. It is what it is. What it is. Going back over here to Esther, so we can get this rule, this thing, to show you why he persecuted this man. Yeah. Because it's pure. That's why we in Esther. You know, we don't go in Esther all the time. But for the sake of this these holy days, these set apart days right here, we're going to go ahead and go through it a little bit. We'll go through it in the parts that we didn't look at last night. Now look what he said here in verse 3. The king's servants which were in the king's gate said unto Mordecai, why transgressed thou the king's commandment? Now it came to pass when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matters would stand, for they told him that he was a Jew. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did reverence, then was Haman full of wrath, and he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had showed him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Xerxes, even the people of Mordecai. In the first month, that is the month of Nisan, in the 12th year of King Xerxes, they cast pure, that is the lot, before Haman from day to day and from month to month, to the 12th month, that is the month Adar. Now Nisan is also, anybody know the other name for the month Nisan, which is what got it called when we went into Babylon? Y'all know the other name for it? It's called Abib. That's the beginning of the year. So now you know, right now Passover is getting ready to come about if they was dealing in that first month. He's saying, Haman said unto King Xerxes, there's a certain people, listen to what he said, scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom. And listen to what he said about it. And their laws are diverse from all people. Neither they keep the king's laws, therefore it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. See, y'all need to sit there and look at that. Now you see what Haman is sitting there telling the people. He's telling the king, look here, these people got different laws than us. And it don't profit the kingdom for them to be here. Now what do you think going to happen if all our people return back to our God and began to do the things that we're supposed to do? It's not going to profit them, is it? And guess what you think? Guess what they're going to be ready to do once you do that? Any of y'all got any idea if we stop doing what these people wanted us to do and return to our God, what you think these people gonna want to do to us? Kill these niggas. Look at Revelation 12. Thank the Lord. He took me straight on to it. About verse 16. What y'all think gonna happen? You think if you think all our people say, man, I ain't messing with no Valentine's Day, man. All our women stop wearing pants, buying weed. Don't you know how much money them Asian people gonna lose? You niggas stop buying weed. You think you know how much money these people lose? Y'all stop buying pants. How much money do you think them people gonna lose if every nigga in America stop celebrating Christmas and Thanksgiving and Easter? Don't you know our people purchase $100 billion worth of products a year in this place? Do you know the last time I seen it, it could be higher now. But they said individually, based off the money we spend, we would be the 9th richest country on the face of the earth. That's a lot of money, ain't it? To be considered to be the 9th wealthiest country. That means we would basically be almost on the outside or a part of the G8 summit, now wouldn't it? Because the G8 summit is considered is a compromise of the 8 wealthiest countries on the earth. Now you just imagine you stop spending all this type of money with these people. That's where you're going to hurt them at. You return to your God, that's what's going to cut them. But look what's going to happen when you do it though. Make it 15. He said, the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Yahshua the Messiah. Now you got to remember, he looked on that woman above all women, didn't he? But he said, guess what though? That same woman, they gonna seek to kill her. He said, now I got to kill her children. You know what that go back to, him killing them children? See, go look at that Jabez. Go back and look at Jabez. Because he said he gonna make war with the remnant of her seed. Go back to 1 Chronicles 4. Let's look at that. Huh? You're right over there, Jim Dandy?
No.
Well, what's your Mickey Mouse function?
What you think?
Yeah. Smoke crack, don't you?
You smoke crack.
Well, jump then.
Jump, Sam's.
4:9. 1 Chronicles 4:9. And how we know they talk about the Lord with Jabez? Because it said he was a son of Judah. That's what lets you know they're specifically referring to the Lord. Because it's dealing with Judah. 1 Chronicles 4:9. 1 Chronicles 4:9. Listen what he say. And Jabez was more honorable than his brethren. And his mother called his name Jabez because I bear him with sorrow. Now, why would she call his name bearing him with sorrow if he's pertaining to the Lord? Why would she sit there and say this man's name, she going to bear him with sorrow? Anybody know? Huh? Let me see something where it is. Matthew 1. That's what we'll just do with that. This is why she bearing with sorrow. Y'all hold on. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. I can't tell y'all why that's happening. I have no answers for that. But Matthew 1. If I can get to where I want to be. And about verse 12. Matthew 1 and 12. It's saying, being warned of God in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of YAH appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, arise, take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt. And be thou there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. And when he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night, and departed into Egypt. And there was fulfilled was there until the death of Herod, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken of YAH by the prophet, saying, out of Egypt have I called my son. Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem, and all the coasts thereof, from 2 years old and under, according unto the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men. Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremiah the prophet, saying, in Ramah was there a voice heard, lamentation and weeping and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children, and would not be comforted because they are not. So you can see why she said she bear them in sorrow. Because when she bearing Yahshua, a lot of our people got slaughtered then. And that's the same thing going to go back when you're looking at, he going to slaughter the remnant of the woman's seed in it. Because she got to bear this seed with much sorrow, because a lot of them going to have to die. Say, Rachel said, I can't be comforted right now because my children aren't comforted. And we know that's going back to the time of who? Moses and because they did the same thing, killing the children. And what are they doing with our children now? Killing the children. You know what I'm talking about? And our people in much sorrow. See, look at the law and see why we in this position. Look at Deuteronomy 28. See how people wonder why we go through what we go through. The book don't tell it. About verse 65. Deuteronomy 28 and 65. Listen what he say. He said, among these nations thou shalt find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But Yah shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. Remember he said she bearing with sorrow, didn't it? So then, like I said, that's why that had to be fulfilled. And guess what? Our people still got sorrow right now, don't they? Huh? Don't our people got a trembling of heart and a failing of eye? Do we have rest here? But yet we continue to seek after these people and try to get some rest here and get some peace here. It's just dumb, in my opinion. It's just dumb. Listen what else he say. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee. Thou shalt fear day and night. Thou shalt have no assurance of thy life. See, guess what? Black people ain't got no assurance of their life. Anything can happen to you at any given time. That's what the Lord saying. You got some Hebrew niggas talking about, we can break the curses. How can you break the curse? You can't break that. That man say these things will be a sign on you forever. When these curses going to be broken? Y'all know when these curses going to be broken? When the Lord get here. That's the only way they're going to be broken. That's the only way they're going to be broken. We looking at the time of Esther right now. They didn't have no insurance of their life when this man was getting ready to come get them there. They had to put their trust in the Lord. See, we the only people, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. We don't want to trust our God. We want to trust men. Look what he say in verse 67. He say, in the morning thou shalt say, would God it were even. And at even thou shalt say, would God it were morning. For the fear of thy heart wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thy eyes which thou shalt see. See, the stuff we see, that's why our people protest. That's why people out there with bullhorns. That's why niggas walk around with picket signs. That's why niggas have sit-ins. You know what I'm talking about? That's why niggas walk from Jacksonville to Sanford. You know what I'm talking about? That's why niggas talking about let's have financial boycott. That's why niggas mad at, I ain't heard a nigga.
Well, they gotta walk back too. Niggas
I don't know if they walk back. I don't know. I didn't ask. I don't care.
Niggas insane.
That's why niggas mad at Nicki, whatever Nicki Minaj song that is. I ain't heard it. I don't want to hear. You know what I'm talking about? But that's why niggas get mad. Because the man say you're not going to have no rest here. Rest, did the Lord say, come unto me, all ye that labor, and I'll give you rest? But we don't want to seek no rest like this. We want America to give us rest. Huh? We think Federal Reserve notes going to give us some rest. We think a better car going to give us some rest. A bigger home going to give us some rest. We looking for Al Sharpton and them to give us some rest. We looking for a rapper to stand up for some of these stupid niggas looking for Barack Obama to give them rest. No, you already read them? Baby moving?
Huh? Huh?
Not that type of moving. The type of moving that makes you feel like I got to poop.
Huh?
Yeah? Yeah, she's willing to put money on that. She's willing to wait. Say, I'll give you some rest this day. She didn't even have the baby on the Sabbath last time. Yeah, matter of fact, she was able to make it for the word on the following Sabbath after she had the baby.
It's a rest day. All have you done in work?
Yeah, and that's some mean work there, buddy. You would know. You were in there for it. I bailed out.
It's like pooping.
That's more than pooping there, buddy. Back to Esther, though. That's more than pooping.
Just like that. That's all.
Yeah, it's easy for us to say. We ain't had to push now.
Okay, right.
I thank the Lord for it.
Boy.
Glad I was born a man. I don't want to push out no babies. Listen what this man said. Let's see if we gonna hear something similar here. We in verse what? Verse 8. Matter of fact, hold on. Look at Acts 16 about him talking about them laws. Look at Acts 16, verse 20. I want y'all to see something. I want y'all to see what this Roman man say. Acts 16. Doc, make it verse 19. Acts 16 and 19. Yeah, I can't tell y'all why it's doing that. I got pretty good. I got 4 bars, so I can't even call that. Acts 16 and 19.
What's that?
They said it's static. They can't really help. He said, when her master saw that the hope of their gains were gone, they caught Paul and Silas and drew them into a marketplace unto the rulers, and brought them to the magistrates, saying, these men, being Jews, do exceedingly trouble our city. Now they say they trouble in the city. Why would they say they trouble in the city? And teach customs which are not lawful for us to receive, neither to observe, being Romans. Now, if these were Israelites who were Gentiles according to the mind, why would they say it's not lawful for us to keep these things? Does that make any sense for any of y'all? For an Israelite to say it's not lawful for us to do what's ours, seeing that we Roman? There's not an Israelite walking during that time period would have opened their mouth and said that. And if anybody think that an Israelite will open their mouth and said that, they need to stand up, take their good hand, and slap fire from their own self. Don't use your weak hand. Take your good hand and slap yourself for being stupid. You know what I'm talking about? Because ain't nowhere in the world an Israelite going to stand up and say, these men are troubling our city, being Jews, teaching us things that are not lawful for us to do. And that's the same thing Hammond saying. These people got laws that's different from us. That Roman is saying the same thing. These people got laws that's different from us. Now you have to sit there and look at that. Remember what we just read in Deuteronomy 7? He said, you'll be a peculiar treasure to me above all people. Y'all got to understand, it's not many people living how we living. You're going to be strange to people. Y'all do know that's what the word peculiar means. Something that's strange, something that's odd. You know what I'm talking about? And a lot of y'all ain't willing to be strange and odd. You still trying to fit in instead of standing out. This is the one time in life where it's probably good that you want to be peculiar. You know what I'm talking about? You want to be different. You want to be different. Let me look at something. Go to Colossians 1. And this is the reason why I be telling y'all Colossians 1 and about 28. That ain't what I wanted. But it'll work nonetheless. Make it 22. Matter of fact, make it 21. We'll work our way around. Colossians 1 and 21. He said, and you that were sometimes alienated and enemies in your own mind by wicked works, you have now have he reconciled. So knowing that you've been separated from God because you were an enemy in your own mind. See, you hear people say all the time, I'm my own worst enemy. See, when you double-minded, you know what you in. You being your own worst enemy, aren't you? You know what I'm talking about? And that allows you to be set apart and alienated from God because of the wicked things that you're doing. He said, but now the Messiah done came and he done reconciled you to the Father. Look what he said. He say, who now, that's my spot. He say, in the body of his flesh through death, to present you holy, unblameable, and unreprovable in his sight. Now remember, Abraham, to know that he was going to inherit that land, didn't he? Died, didn't he? So he's saying through death, you've been able to reconcile to God because through Abraham's death, he was able to let him know what? This is how you're going to get this land. How you think you're going to get the land? But through the death of the Messiah. You don't have no right but to Jerusalem. Then he said, then we read the other day, to him that overcome, I'll make him a pillar in the temple of my God. And I'll write upon him the name of my God. And he said, and he will dwell in the city of my God, which come down from heaven, which is New Jerusalem. That's the only way you're going to be able to inherit, because you're going to have to be able to be born of God, meaning you're going to have to be born of he that is righteous. And then you're going to do righteous because you're born of him to be able to inherit. Because only sons get inheritances, right? So the only way you're going to get an inheritance is you got to be righteous as Yahshua is righteous. Which means you're going to have to be born of God. Which means you're going to have to be able to do that through this man's death so you can be holy and unblameable and unreprovable in his sight. And if you holy and unblameable, ain't you peculiar and odd from everybody else? See, that's the whole key thing. That's all going to have to start to realize. You need to start trying to fit in. Why are you trying to fit in with sinners? Why are you trying to fit in with carnal people? Why are you trying to fit in with the world when God is calling you out of it? He said if you were of the world would love its own. But I have called you out of the world. You are not of the world. If the man is calling you out of the world, why are you desperately trying to cling to it and the people, places, and things that are in it when the world is going to be destroyed? When he say, look at the heavens above and the earth beneath, the heavens going to vanish away like smoke and the earth going to wax old like a garment. And he said everybody within is going to die in like manner. So knowing that the whole world is going to be crashed, why would you hold on to it? Why would you be concerned with it? You got to be willing to leave things alone. As harsh as that might sound, it is what it is though. Because then if you're trying to be like the world, are you conforming to the... See, look at Romans 12. Look what he tell you now. Look what he tell you. See, that's what the whole thing with this, what Haman was mad about. He said, man, they don't live like we live. And see, the whole thing is that meaning we got to be separate. Romans 12 and 1. We got to be separate. You got to be different. You know, in this world, don't people clown you for being different? Even if it wasn't dealing with the word. Then don't people clown people, and especially with young people, don't they clown people for being different? You wear your hair different, you dress different. But this like this here, y'all got to be willing to take getting clowned for being different on this aspect. Romans 12 and 1. He said, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. Don't think you're doing nothing extra for God by doing what he say do. You ain't doing nothing extra. You are not going above and beyond the call of duty. Don't think because you ain't fornicated in a while, or you ain't stolen in a while, or you ain't broke no Sabbath, or you ain't smoked in a while, that you doing anything extra special. You just doing what is your reasonable service. That man say reasonable. Y'all do know what reasonable means. This ain't even asking for much. Like, this is even swap, no swindle. You need to be holy and acceptable to God. You need to present your body as a living sacrifice. You need to set yourself apart and give yourself up. No, you drinking my water, everybody? You drinking my water? Are you going to breathe right there? Guzzling right there. Obviously, that water can't be cold. You would have got a brain freeze. Verse 2. He said, be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is good, what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. The man said you don't need to be conformed to what this world is doing. What these sinners doing, what they're trying to entice you to do, you don't need to be conformed to what they're doing. Proverbs 1, he told you if sinners entice thee, do what? He said, consent thou not. Because that's what the world is trying to do, right? It's trying to entice you. Sinners going to be trying to entice you on every cut and corner. That's why he say, pray not that you enter into temptation. You know what I'm talking about? Because you're going to mess around and you're going to fool with some stuff and it's going to tempt you and it's going to tempt you and it's going to overcome you. And the next thing you know, sin is going to be conceived. And once sin is conceived, death is brought forth. Err not, my beloved brethren. That's what James told you. I don't think some of y'all don't believe that. I think some of y'all don't believe when sin is conceived that death come right around the corner from that. I don't think some of y'all believe that. Y'all believe that? But guess what? The Lord says some of y'all don't believe it because your actions bear witness you don't believe it. That's what he said. He said some of y'all sitting there lying talking about you believe that. Because he said your actions so otherwise. Because you're doing what you want to do. And he's sitting there thinking, and this nigga think I ain't going to kill. No, I got that extra small tank top on now. He said, but look at what he say here in verse 3.
That is true. That's all it is. That little water.
I hear you. He said, for I say through the grace given unto me that every man that is among you not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly according as God hath dealt to every man in the measure of faith. At the same time, just because the man that gave you some knowledge and information to save yourself, don't lift yourself up over nobody. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? You just got to do what your job is to do, whatever he wants you to do. Now I want y'all to look at verse 7. Because listen to what he say. Well, matter of fact, make it verse 5. Verse 4. Because y'all need to hear this here. Because I'm sitting here looking at it and he's putting it in my mind that y'all need to hear this. Listen to what he say. He say, for we have many members in one body, and all members have not the same office. Y'all need to sit there and know that though. That if you in the body, everybody's not going to have the same job. You know what I'm talking about? You know the Lord had his job, didn't he? Everybody got a job. Some people ain't got no job. You know what I just tell you all the time? You know, I used to tell Nell that. Then we heard Smith that. She used to die laughing from hearing it. When you tell you what, that's above your pay grade. I got it from watching the military shows and them CIA shows. They used to tell them that. I just found that funny.
That's what they said for real.
Yeah, I know they do. You know what I'm saying? That's why I found it funny to me, because I know it's real. Like, that's above your pay grade. You know what I'm talking about? And see, a lot of times where some of y'all get messed up and a lot of people in the world get messed up is they be seeking to do things that's outside your pay grade. You know what I'm talking about? If you ain't a general, don't be trying to do the work that a general do. If you's a private, be the best private there is. You know what I'm talking about? Don't be around here trying to be a lieutenant. That's above your pay grade. See, look what he tells. He say, having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given unto us, wherefore prophecy, let us prophecy according to the proportion of faith. Now you got to say, you remember what Nell said? He told her about people speaking in tongues. She said, man, Lord, let her know, I don't give my gifts to sinners. And that's the reason why y'all need to understand that and know that. That needs to really sink into each and every one of y'all brain. I want to hear from each and every one of y'all. Would you like a gift from the Lord? A spiritual gift? Would you like that? Would you like a spiritual gift from the Lord? Jim Dandy, I'm talking to you. Huh? Yeah, I'm just saying. I just got Drew. You want a spiritual gift from the Lord? No, we rolling now. I'm talking about Barry, Nicole, Glover, Ron. I'm talking about everybody. How many of y'all want a spiritual gift from the Lord? How many of y'all want that? So you have to wait on it. But see, you're not going to get it if you ain't willing to be a peculiar treasure, though. You're not going to get it if you're not willing to separate. And you have to sit there and realize, as much as people because I understand, people learn some new stuff, you want to share it. That's human nature, ain't it? But sometimes you need to sit back and wait, because you might be doing stuff above your pay grade and get yourself in trouble. Look what he say in verse 7. He say, or ministry, let us wait on our ministry. Or he that teach, on teaching. See, you know why a lot of people be messed up? Because they be ready to go preach on them. And the man sitting here telling you need to wait. He said, he that exhort, on exhortation, or he that give, let him do it with simplicity. He that rule with diligence, and he that show mercy with cheerfulness. You know what I'm talking about? Because I think sometimes people outweigh, preaching is good, but I think some people outweigh the other stuff you can do that's just as good. You know what I'm talking about? Because everybody can't be no preacher. But it's good to show mercy on people. Is that not just as good as showing the power of God right there? It's not giving to the poor and helping them. It's not showing the mercy and power of God right there. Is that not any good? Is warning or encouraging someone to do right and stay right? Is that not just as good? Ain't that just as good to encourage somebody? You can encourage somebody to stay on the path without preaching no word. That's not hard. That's just as good. It's all working to what? The glory of God, ain't it? See, we have to look at these things because all these things pertain to our law and how we live. That's different from these people. When you walk in them Christian churches knowing that it's set up based off pagans, are they doing any of them things? Really encouraging people to live right? Really waiting on doing things? Niggas just pop up and say, God is calling me to preach. I'm finna go to theological seminary school. You know what I'm talking about? I'm finna become an ordained minister. Then you got a nigga talking about Jesus Christ bail bonds. See, that's how you get stuff like that. That's how you get a nigga like we seen the other day when a nigga was having a Christian rap public access show or whatever that was he was having. Remember I told you change the channel, change it quick. That was just last week. Nevertheless, it doesn't matter because they were inconsequential in the first place. But that's why these things happen. And we have to remember we different from these people. You know what I'm talking about? We are different from these people. And no matter how much you run across people and you might like them and care about them, don't let nobody snare you and trap you. Because that's what sinners coming out to do. Don't think that they're not. Remember now, the Lord knew Judas was sour the whole time. The whole time he's sitting there plotting. You know what I'm talking about? Whole time. He's sitting there plotting. Nigga was wicked from the jump street. He was a thief. He ain't never get right. Whole time Paul say, I'm surrounded by false brethren. You know what I'm talking about? So I don't know why you thinking niggas be sour in the street. Then you think when you going to get in the assembly, you think it ain't going to be no sourness. You thinking the people on the outside of the assembly, you think these people really want you to get saved? Or do they really want to continue to work you for the things that they getting out of you? Remember I used to tell you that about Marie all the time. She ain't never see it though. People using you to get what they want for you. It's tax season right now. Niggas finna get used up all over the country. Especially women. You know what I'm talking about? Winter time, tax time, niggas pop up out the woodwork. Niggas be extra, boy, we talking about when them income tax checks, niggas get extra nice. Or on the flip side, women get brand new and don't want to talk to a nigga then when you broke. Now you back to being my friend. So you have to be aware of that, man. When you got to know what I'm saying. Niggas becoming niggas is what this word is, chameleons. You know what I'm talking about? Try to cover themselves up. Don't let nobody fool you now. Go back to Esther. Don't let nobody fool you. You stand on God's word prove it out. But you got to be willing to know, I'm different from you. I can't do what you doing. I can't go where you going. I can't be where you be. Ain't nothing personal. Look at this here. Look at verse 13. Oh, matter of fact, no, I'm talking about. Look at verse 9. He said, if it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed. And I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have charge of this business to bring it into the king's treasuries. And the king took his ring from his hand and gave it unto Haman, the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, the Jews' enemy. And the king said unto Haman, the silver is given to thee, the people also to do with them as it seemed good to thee. Then there were king's scribes called on the 13th day of the first month, so Passover coming up and all. You know what I'm talking about? And don't you know right before Passover, wasn't them people plotting on killing us? And what did the Lord do? He slaughtered these people down. He said, now it took him now a good long time for this to happen, because you know it didn't happen. They didn't get killed to the end of the year. Said, then it was written according to all that Haman had commanded unto the king's lieutenants and the governors that were of every province, and to the rulers of every people of every province, according written thereof, to every people after their language. In the name of King Xerxes was it written and sealed with the king's ring. And the letters were sent by post into all the king's province to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all Jews, both young and old, little children and women, in one day upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month of Adar, and to take spoil of them for a prey. Now these people just sit back. Now that's going right along the lines of what I was telling y'all about by that Rex 84. This man done sat back and said, let's put something together to kill these people. And not only to kill these people because they hate one man. Why do you think they're going to come to make war with the remnant of a seed? Because they hate the Lord. So I want to kill everybody that's a part of him. That's why when we looking at John 16, the Lord say, don't think that it's going to be people that kill you and they're going to be thinking they do God's service. Now, how many of y'all willing to swallow that pill? Look at Luke 6. How many of y'all willing to swallow that pill? How many of y'all, when y'all get persecuted or it come down to die, you going to do this, y'all? How many of y'all willing to do that? How many of y'all going to do that? 6 and 22. How many of y'all going to do that? Or how many of y'all going to deny the Lord and say, I don't know him? You got 19.5 million. Mm-hmm. 6 and 22. Look, he said, blessed are ye when men shall hate you, and when they shall separate you from their company, and they shall reproach you and cast your name as evil for the Son of Man's sake. Weren't they reproaching Mordecai falsely? Weren't they hating the people falsely? See, a lot of y'all don't feel like you blessed when men hate you for no reason and speak evil of you and cast your name as evil for this man's sake. A lot of y'all don't think that's a blessing. How many people out here in this world be quick to say they blessed? I want some of y'all to just add, when the last time any of y'all said y'all was blessed when somebody reproached you for the name of God? Because you was keeping his ways. Huh? How many of y'all never actually sat down and looked at somebody and told them, I'm blessed? And they say, why are you blessed? Because men hate me and cast my name as evil for the Son of Man's sake. How many of y'all ever told anybody that? You're going to be honest. How many of y'all told anybody that you felt like you were blessed? How many even said it in your own mind? Have you said it before? What about you? That's a shame. Any of y'all on the line? Any of y'all ever had that happen to y'all? Well, you said, you got to sit. But you said you felt that in your mind. You got to know that you blessed when that happened.
When I started knowing about that, I was blessed to have it start happening.
I mean, I'm just saying. I'm saying that anytime. It didn't have to be recent.
No, I mean, like, once I found out that I'm blessed, people do that, it really start happening, it really start came. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, when you let it, because
I already don't let it be known. Like, when I first let it be known that I was doing this, that's when I was.
Hold on, Glover. Say that again. What you say then?
I said when I first let it be known I was doing this, that's when it started happening.
Yeah. When they started cursing?
Yeah. But then when I found out that you blessed,
Well, praise the Lord, Brittany. Praise the Lord. What you said now, Glover, repeat that. Brittany said she had to tell her mama that today. I can't understand what you're saying. Well, just because you get a whole bunch if you get a whole bunch of money or something, that don't necessarily mean that you blessed or you cursed. You know what I'm talking about? Some things happen by time and chance. Sometimes maybe it be the Lord directed. But we talking about blessings in heaven. You know what? Because look at verse 23. He said, rejoice ye in that day and leap for joy. For behold, your reward is great in heaven, for in like manner did the fathers unto the prophets. Now let's say if you came into some money, son, see you married. And the man say, since you married, don't he say you obtain the favor of y'all? You wonder why certain things happen in your direction? Because you serve God and you married. Wouldn't you agree? I'm talking to you. They're both of y'all actually. Wouldn't you agree those way? A lot of stuff you think that would have went your way if you wasn't married. Huh?
You said what?
You think certain things that done fail your way in certain situations where you thought, I ain't know how we're going to do it. You think if you wasn't married and serving the Lord, you think they would have failed your way. Because what I'm saying, but the key thing, did he say, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing, don't he? And he said he obtained the favor of Yah. That's the key part. He said you will obtain favor from God when you do it. You know what I'm talking about? And then of course it's going to be magnified because you obey. You know what I'm talking about? Because you obey. Because we know Lord gonna look out for you. You know the Lord look upon marriage as a great thing. He say marriage is honorable. You know what I'm talking about? That's why he say, hey, I looked upon my Esther above all women. Because he thought it was an honorable thing to marry Israel. You know what I'm talking about? That's why he told you, man, find a wife, you find a good thing. You think he ain't find a wife for a son? I found a wife for my son. You know what I'm talking about? It's an honorable thing for him to be married or not. He said, look here. He said, that's why he said that bed undefiled. He said, but I'm a judge whoremongers and adulterers. And we know what? A whoremonger in the physical sense, but a whoremonger spiritually, that's somebody like to lay down with any God. Y'all ever known somebody that just follow any wind of doctrine, just follow and serve anything? You know what I'm talking about? Like straight up, one week that nigga a Muslim, next week he a Buddhist, other week he talking about I'm an agnostic. He don't know what he want to be. Just a spiritual whoremonger. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, you laughing like you knew somebody. You somebody came to your mind just then?
That's a joke, man.
I wasn't no joke. That was dead serious.
That was funny. That's a joke.
Yeah, but a spiritual whoremonger.
What you were saying?
You know what I'm saying? But that is
Nigga
serious.
don't know what he wanna be.
No, but I know niggas like that, man. You catch that nigga Egyptologist. You know what I'm talking about? Next thing you know, he talking about Assalamu alaikum. I'm an Israelite, bro. Then he be like, I don't mess with that Israelite stuff. Because, see, man, them niggas had it wrong. See, now you got to question everything. Because you got to understand that Shakespeare wrote the Bible. You know what I'm talking about? We all type of shit all over the place. 3 weeks later, it prayed the Lord. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, you just a spiritual whoremonger. You just lay down with any God. Whatever's convenient for you. See, I want y'all to know, don't serve the Lord when it's convenient for you. Because if you notice people who do things according to the word when it's convenient for them. See, I don't want y'all to be caught up on like with these fake pagan celebrations these people have. I don't mind if you say something to people about it. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if you ain't living right in all other areas, don't be condemning them people for keeping this goddamn holiday because you're going to the same hell they going to. So what you gonna keep Valentine's Day? You over here lying and stealing and breaking the Sabbath over here. You fornicating, you lusting, you coveting. You know what I'm talking about? Them ain't your shoes. You want to beat that nigga up and take his shoes. You know what I'm talking about? You want something that don't belong to you. You know what I'm talking about? As soon as that nigga turn his head, you gonna take his wallet. You know what I'm talking about? Some of you got, I told you, it's tax time. You got Hebrew niggas like, we ain't gotta file taxes. This ain't our land. That's not our custom. Nigga just stealing. Nigga told me they was a 501c3 corporation church because they had to rob the white man for what they doing. I say, ain't that a little bit conniving? They stealing from us. So you gonna turn around and do the same thing? You know what I'm talking about? We don't never read none of our forefathers in captivity doing none of that wicked type of stuff. You know what I'm talking about? But that's the type of mind these niggas got, man. You could just do anything. Going right back to what we read last week. Don't take your liberty as no maliciousness. You got to be peculiar and you got to be odd. You can't do what these niggas be doing. We just don't operate like that. Come on, man. Daniel ain't even go off on the king when the king threw him in the lion's den. He knew the king had love for him and the king ain't want to do it. You know what I'm talking about? But yet the king, hey, man, I spoke a word. I can't go against my own word. You know what I'm talking about? At the same time, what did the king do? I'm going to go pray to the Lord. He spared you because I don't want to kill you. I want to kill the niggas who wanted me to put you in here, though. You know what I'm talking about? I want them. You see what Daniel did? Did Daniel say, oh, king, spare me? Daniel ain't do none of that. Daniel said, I'm going to pray to my God. Whatever he choose to do, that's what's going to happen. See, some of y'all ain't got that type of mind when people come to persecute you and do stuff to you. You don't be like, I'm going to pray to my God. You either want to fight for yourself Or you want to go to a man about it? How many of y'all, when somebody do something to you, y'all be ready to fight for yourself? Then we just read in Deuteronomy 9, he say, I'm the one who fight for you. You know what I'm talking about? But a lot of y'all don't trust the Lord enough for him to stand up and do it. Remember when I was working at that job and that lady kept messing with me, and next thing you know, I told her she had a neck injury, didn't I? Ain't do nothing to her. I ain't tell her to leave me alone. I ain't tell her to do nothing. Lord just smote her. She like, you see my neck killing me, I'm going to the hospital, I'm in so much pain. I said, that's what, in my mind, I like, that's what you get for messing with me. You trying to hinder what this man got me to do. It's people he want me to testify against. It's people who want to hear the word, and you hindering me. So guess what the Lord said I'm going to do? I'm going to hurt this nigga. You know what I did for her? I said, Lord, you going to take your hand off her. Yeah, I can make a couple extra bucks, but she looked like she in pain. Guess what? She still didn't learn to stop blaspheming and being evil there. So you know what he did? He took the contract from her. Now you ain't got nothing. And both of you niggas quit your job because you was working at this restaurant and cleaning it. Now you left with nothing. You know what I'm talking about? Because you got to learn. Let the man fight for you. You ain't got to do nothing but sit back and watch. I ain't rejoice when it happened. I ain't say, ooh, that's what you get. You know what I'm talking about? Because you know that's how people be now. You know that's how you going to feel. That's what you get. Because remember, he said, don't rejoice when your enemy stumble. He said, lest y'all be displeased and I take my hand off of them. You can sit there and look at it, and all that's the thing in your mind there. It don't pay to cost the living God now. It don't pay to cost none insurance. Some of y'all got children. What y'all gonna do if somebody came and did something evil to y'all children? What the first thing gonna pop in y'all mind? Ain't none of that. That's mine. That's one of mine. You got to see me about mine. You know what I'm saying? Well, how do you think the Lord feel about his children? You cross my children, you gonna see me about mine. See, the reason why you see them people out here when stuff happen to them and they don't get no justice, because they're not none of the Lord's children. They're not none of the Lord's children. Then at the same time, you don't be knowing what type of stuff the Lord gonna do to these people anyway. You don't know the type of stuff Zimmerman got going on in his life. Other than what they put on the news, you don't know what type of torments or what that man going through or what the Lord doing to him. All we looking at is he free. You know what I'm talking about? But his life is never the same. His life is never the same. Whether Michael Dunn get off or not, his life ain't never going to be the same. And then you don't know what tribulation the Lord going to take that man through. Because at the end of the day, if you commit sin, you not getting away. That man said he by no means clears the guilty. So you think he going to clear that man of his guilt if he wrong? In his eyesight? No, he ain't going to clear him. Go back up. Oh, yeah, that's the man. I know we going on a little bit. Y'all just bear with me. Let me see what I want here in the 4th chapter. Look at verse 14. Make it 13. He said, then Mordecai commanded to answer Esther, think not with thyself that thou shalt escape in the king's house more than all the Jews. He said, for if thou altogether hold thy peace at this time, then shall their enlargement and deliverance arise to the Jews from another place. But thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed. Who know whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this? Then Esther bade them return Mordecai this answer. Go gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan, and fast ye for me, neither eat nor drink 3 days, night nor day. I also and my maidens will fast likewise. And so will I go unto the king, which is not according to the law, and if I perish, I perish. So Mordecai went his way and did according to all that Esther had commanded him. Now we're sitting there looking at something right here. He say, how would you know that this enlargement and deliverance from the Jews from another place would not be because he came to the kingdom for such a time as this? He says, Mordecai in the kingdom for such a time as this? Didn't Yahshua come about for such a time as this to bring deliverance and enlargement? Because remember, Jabez's name means what he would enlarge his coast too, wouldn't he? Said he would enlarge his borders too. But look what the key thing, what she asked, what she said here in verse 16. What did y'all catch here in verse 16? What y'all see right there? She told him to fast for how many days? How many days did she tell him to fast? What is the significance of these 3 days and 3 nights? Exactly. Let's look at Job 14, and then we work it back. Thank the Lord, it took me straight for it. Job 14. Huh? Yeah. Job 14. Now, because the reason why I've been there, not only is the 3 days mentioned there, it's mentioned in Genesis 4. I mean, because we have to stay. And what does the number 3 represent for us? Any of y'all know what that 3 represent for us? Any of y'all on here know what that 3 represent for us?
Oh,
Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's why he was in the grave 3 days and 3 nights. That's why he mentioned Father, Son, and Spirit. You know what I'm talking about? Father being Abraham, Son being Yahshua, Spirit being Jacob, because that would be the children. You know what I'm talking about? Same concept. But look at Job 14:1, pardon me. He say, man that is born of woman is a few days and full of trouble. He come forth like a flower and is cut down. He flee also as a shadow and continue not. And dost thou open thy eyes upon such a one and bring me into judgment with thee? Who shall bring a clean thing out of an unclean? Not one. Now he's sitting here and asking, who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean? But we know Yahshua came to do that, didn't he? That's Job 14. Let me see what it is that I read. Look at John 15:3. That's where we was at. We going to John 15 right now. He said, who can bring a clean thing out of something that's not clean? Clean thing out of something that's unclean. He said, can't nobody do that. But let's see what the Lord say. If I can find the verse. Verse 3. He said, now you are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. See, now jump back over here to the 13th chapter. He said the word bring you clean. So how else you going to be clean? We're going to go to Romans 6 in a moment. Look at John 13 about verse 10. He said, Yahshua saith to him, he that is washed need not to save to wash his feet, but he is clean every whit, and ye are clean, but not all. For he knew who should betray him. Therefore he said, ye are not all clean. So you got to sit there and look at him. He said, he that's clean don't need to be washed. See, when you done cleansed yourself with the word, do you need to be washed? Because now the Lord took an unclean thing and made it clean, didn't he? See, let's look how he did. Look at Romans 7. Let's see how he took an unclean thing and made it clean. Because did not Israel defile herself? How did Israel defile herself? Israel defiled herself by laying with other gods, didn't it? Then we start off looking at that Ezekiel 16, how you say you like a wife who committed adultery, that takes strangers instead of her husband. Didn't the Lord say the things that come out of a man's heart, that would defile him, and adultery line into that? Look at Romans 7. He say, know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law. Romans 7:1. How that the law have dominion over a man as long as he live. He say, for the woman which have a husband is bound by the law to her husband, so as long as he live. But if the husband be dead, she is loose from the law of her husband. So then, if while her husband lives she be married to another man, she shall be called an adulteress. But if her husband be dead, she is free from that law, so that she is no adulteress, though she be married to another man. He said, wherefore, my brethren, you are also become dead to the law by the body of the Messiah, that you should be married to another, even to him who was raised from the dead, that we should bring fruit forth unto God. For when we were in the flesh, the motions of sin, which were by the law, did work in our members to bring fruit unto death. But now we are delivered from the law, that being dead wherein we were held, that we should serve in newness of spirit and not oldness of the letter. So now he's sitting here talking about how this man's resurrection enabled us to become new, didn't he? Because remember what did Paul call Israel then? He said, I espoused you as a chaste virgin, didn't he? And if you chaste, that means you pure, aren't you? Because there was no other way for Israel to be clean unless something had to come to cleanse them. Because we were unclean. He said, can a man bring a clean thing out of an unclean thing? He said, not one. So a man had to come do it. That's why he said, I had to come and do the works which no other man did. That makes sense when you're looking at this Job 14. He said, he said, who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean? Israel was unclean. He already said, y'all contrary, y'all are harlot. He said, I got to do something to be able to make her clean. So what did he do? He died, didn't he? Because when you in the grave, you ain't eating nor drinking, are you? You afflicted, aren't you? He took afflictions to be able to go. Look at Matthew 20. Might be Luke 19. You all right over there, man? I'm talking about that nigga sitting up. You really went and got that fade and looked like your package. You tell the truth. That's what you went and got it for. It's okay, you can tell me, man. Matthew 16, we read it last night. Let's just go straight there. You can tell me, man. It's okay. 16. You finna get ready to go to bed soon, man. Oh, that's okay. I'm good to go. Verse 21. He say, from that time forth began Yahshua to hold on. All right. He say, from that time forth Yahshua began to show unto his disciples how he must go to the elders and suffer many things of the elders and chief priests and scribes and be killed and be raised again the third day. So now we could just confirm that third day, because it said that the man, your husband, got to die, right? For that wife to be clean, so she's not an adulteress. Because an adulteress is a defiled act. You know what I'm talking about? That was Matthew 16 and 21. Now we're going back to Job 14 to look at something. He said, a man is born of a woman, and he said his days continue not. He said he come forth like a flower and is cut down. Now let's look at Luke 22. Look at Luke 22, because he says his days like. Remember when we read about Daniel 4 and that in Ezekiel 17? You remember that, little month? Remember how he talking about he would cut the tree down? What about you, Jim Danny? You remember that? Man, I just looked at this earlier today. Oh, probably because that's the page that was it's missing. I have to remember where I put that. It is. It's over here. Luke 22, verse 37, pardon me. This is what he tells him. He say, for I say unto you that this that is written must yet be accomplished in me. And he was reckoned upon the transgressors, for the things concerning me have an end. Now he's sitting here telling you right there that a man is full of trouble. Because right, they said Yahshua was a man of affliction, wasn't he? Remember Isaiah 53 said he's a man who's acquainted with grief and seen sorrows and afflictions. That means he was full of trouble and he had few days, didn't he? He was only 33. His ministry lasted for how long? 3.5 years. He was stopped in the middle of the week because he said he'll be cut off in the midst of the week. You know what I'm talking about? So you know, in week in the prophetic terms can mean 7 years. You know what I'm talking about? Say he was cut off in the midst of the week. So his days were few work. He had a lot of work to do in a short period of time. You know what I'm talking about? And he said he came forth as a flower and is cut down, and he flee as a shadow and continue not. Just to refresh your memory, go look at Ezekiel 17, about the last 2 verses. Any of y'all remember who was with us when we went through that? Do you remember this so much? It wasn't that long ago. This came from Brittany. Brittany got us this here. See when he said here in verse 24. Well, verse 22, actually. Say, thus saith Yah, I will also take of the highest branch of the high cedar, and I will set it and crop it off from the top of his young twigs, a tender one, and will plant it upon the high mountain and eminent. Remember, because he said we got to cut that thing, it's got to come forth like a flower, it's got to be cut down. Meaning, because he just sitting here telling you, I got to die. For me to be able to die, that's the only way I can be able to bring forth a clean thing. Go back to Job 14 and 5. It was like the last verse. The verse just is relevant to bring back the remembrance about him being cut down. Because you know what I'm talking about? Because that goes ties back to what we looked at in the Matthew 16, right? He said, I got to die. I have to be cut down. Look at verse 5 in Job 14. Look what he said. Because remember, he said the things that is concerning him have an end, right? That's what he said, right? Look at verse 5. Seeing his days are determined. Wasn't Yahshua's days determined beforehand? Because he said when he came to die, he knew it was his time, didn't he? He told you that in John 13. The numbers of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. Did Yahshua go past his time appointed? He said the things concerning me have an end, didn't he? He didn't go past the time that he had. Verse 6, he say, turn from him that he may rest, till he shall accomplish as a hireling his day. This man say he need to turn to him so he can rest. Remember when we dealt when he saw rest was good. He said he got to turn from him. Now when he say turn from him that he may rest, what you think that's talking about him turning from him? Because remember we dealing with the fact of reading Esther about these 3 days and with these fasts. When did he turn from him? When he said, my God, why have you forsaken me? Remember he said, chasten thy son where there is hope, spread not. I had to turn my back on him. Said, please y'all to bruise him. So I turned my back on him. Look what he say now. He say, turn from him that he may rest. If the Father would have turned from him, would Yahshua got rest? Would he got it? Of course not. Then he say, till he shall accomplish as a hireling his day. So when he rested them 3 days and 3 nights, did he get his payment for everything? That means he got his dominion, he got his kingdom, he got everlasting life, he got all that. He got all that. He received his payment, didn't he? Because remember, look at Philippians 2. Let's look at it now. He received his payment now. Philippians 2 and about verse 8. He's saying, being found fashioned as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death, even the death of the cross. Wherefore God hath highly exalted him and gave him a name which is above every name, that at the name of Yahshua every knee should bow. Oh, that was there. That every knee should bow of the things in heaven, the things in earth, and the things under the earth, that every tongue should confess that Yahshua is Lord. Yahshua the Messiah is Lord. All right, hold on, y'all. All right. That Yahshua the Messiah is Lord, to the glory of the Father. The glory of God the Father. So we have to look at that. This is how this man was able to receive his payment. Because remember, he received the kingdom, didn't he? He said, I have to do these things. It is necessary for me to do these things. Because Job 14 talking about the resurrection of the dead, period. Go back to Job 14. Look what he told him in verse 7. Look what he said. He said, for there is hope of a tree, if it be cut down, that it will sprout again, and the tender branch thereof will not cease. He said, there is hope for a tree, if it be cut down, that it will sprout again. Remember what the Lord said, I got to be cut down, I got to raise again on the third day, right? That's what we just read in Matthew 16. He said, there's hope for that tree. Because why did Yahshua have hope? Look at Psalm 16, not Psalm 2. Why did Yahshua have hope? That if he could come back up and he would sprout near the bare branches. Because we done dealt with the branches, you know what they're talking about. Then we look at something in Zechariah. Look what he say here, 16 and 8. Make it 5. He said, Yah is the portion of mine inheritance, and of my cup thou maintain my lot. Ain't the Father the portion of Yahshua inheritance? Because we know who was giving him an inheritance. Psalms 2, he told you, asking me, I give you the heathen for thine inheritance. We already know what his inheritance was. We done dealt with him having dominion over the earth in the past, haven't we? Some of y'all ain't heard that, but some of y'all have. He said, the lines are fallen unto me in pleasant places. Yea, I have a goodly heritage. I will bless Yah who have given me counsel. My reins also instruct me in the night seasons. He said he going to say who giving him counsel. Remember what the Lord said in John 12. My Father gave me a commandment, and I know his commandment is life everlasting. John 12 by verse 49 and 50. You remember that? Is it that him giving him counsel and that his reins instruct him? Because God, he said, we done read John 8 and many different aspects of where they're saying, and when the man say, as my Father teach me, that's what I do, right? John 8:28, right? So that means his counsel is instructing him in what to do. He know what to do. See, a lot of reasons why y'all can't do right. You're not allowing the man to instruct you and direct your reign, so you know what to do. You're not listening to God's counsel. You're listening to your own counsel, or you're listening to the counsel of sinners. Hold what you got. Look at Psalms 1. Look what the man gave. Psalms 1 and 1. Look what he gave. He said, blessed is the man that walk not in the counsel of the ungodly. Man say you blessed if you're not taking advice from sinners, from ungodly people. Don't even make no sense to take counsel from an ungodly. Nor stand in the way of sinners, nor sit in the seat of the scornful. And you blessed if you ain't going the way where sinners go. Does it make any sense, little muffin, to go the way sinners go? Does it make any sense, Nicole, to listen to the ungodly? What say you, Glover? What about you, Jim Dandy? Don't make no sense. Don't make no sense. If somebody come up to me, because I told you that conversation that she had with Nell, that's why that hurt me when she told me, I don't need your counsel. I don't need to be talking to you ever again in life. You know what I'm talking about? For you to refuse the counsel of a godly woman, you can't have too much sense. You know what I'm talking about? Can't have too much sense. That's offensive to me. You know what I'm talking about? I can see if there's two sinners and you reject two sinners' counsel, but you're going to reject godly counsel, you got to be a fool. I can't see you being nothing else. What you say? Yeah, I can't see you being nothing else. Look at Psalm 16 though. We in verse 8. He said he would bless y'all which have given me counsel. My reins also instruct me in the night seasons. And this man say, I have set y'all always before me, because he is at my right hand. I shall not be moved. Therefore my heart is glad, my glory rejoice, and my flesh also rest in hope. For thou wilt not leave my soul in hell, neither will thou suffer thy Holy One to see corruption. For thou wilt show me the path of life. In thy presence is fullness of joy. At thy right hand there are pleasures forevermore. Who's sitting at this man's right hand to give forth pleasures forevermore? Because that's where he came to go back to, didn't it? Was to go back to, he said, I got to ascend unto my Father and go back to the right hand from which I came. The man said, I know he ain't going to leave me in the grave. I know I'm not going to leave my set apart one to see corruption. So he said from him coming about that grave, because what happens when you plant a tree? You plant a seed and the tree don't have a root. And from that root, it's going to bring forth branches. And we know, he said, I'm the true vine and my Father's the husbandman. And he said, I'm the vine and you're the what? The branches. Going back to Job 14. All this stuff tied together, it's the same word. The whole book is testifying of the man. That man said that it will sprout again. So when he said he know he wasn't going to leave his Holy One to see corruption, did he not sprout after he was cut down? Because what did he say in Luke? He said if they done this to a dry tree, what you think they going to, he said if they done did it to a green tree, what you think they going to do to the dry? So you got to look at this. They cut down a goodly tree. Same thing when we went through that with Daniel 4. Then they lopped down that tree. Because everybody got to abide under the branches of this tree, don't. He said, but that tree came back and sprouted back up and it bare fruit. He said, the tender branch thereof will not cease. See, look at Zechariah 6. That's what I want. Hold the Job 14 and look at Zechariah 6. No, everybody all right? Y'all all right? Zechariah 6 and 12. Huh? You ain't dozing on me over there, is you, Jim Dandy? Anybody? Anybody? Put your feet on me, cuz.
You put no hand on you, man.
I ain't put my hands on you yet. Not yet. Zechariah 6 and 12.
You got one right there.
I ain't put my hands on you. That was a little pulling there.
Just put your hands on you.
Little pulling. Saying, speak unto him, saying, thus speaketh Yah of hosts, behold, the man named who is the branch shall grow out of his place, and he shall build the temple of Yah. When did Yahshua begin to build the temple? When he came up out of his place, didn't he? He said at the end of the Sabbath, when it began to dawn upon the first day of the week, say Mary and the other Mary came to the sepulchre, and they found out what? He's not here, he is risen. That means he came up out of his place, didn't he? And therefore the house of Yah, the temple of Yah, was able to be built. What? Couldn't be built without him coming up out of his place. He had to sprout. He had to sprout. Look what else he say. Even he shall build the temple of Yah, he shall bear the glory, and shall sit and rule upon his throne, and he shall be a priest upon his throne, and the council of peace shall be between them both. Look at verse 15. He said, and they that are far shall come and build the temple of Yah. Ye shall know of Yah of hosts have sent me unto you. This shall come to pass, if you will diligently obey the voice of Yah your God. Look at Acts 3. He say people going to come near and far, right? He say, all y'all that's going to come far, y'all going to come help build this house. And he say, you going to know that Yah sent me unto you when this come to pass. If you obey, all this will happen. So let's look at Acts. Huh? You just going to look at it, you're going to turn the page. You're going to turn the page. No, you're just going to look at it and just try to mind meld it. Just going to try to mind meld it. Acts 3, 19. He said, repent ye therefore and be converted, that your sins might be blotted out, when the times of refreshing shall come from the presence of the Lord. And he shall send Yahshua the Messiah, which was preached unto you, whom the heaven must receive until the times of restitution of all things which God has spoken by the mouth of all his holy prophets since the world began. For Moses truly said unto the fathers, a prophet shall Yah your God raise up unto you of your brethren like unto me. Him ye shall hear in all things whatsoever he shall say unto you. And it shall come to pass that every soul which will not hear that prophet shall be destroyed from among the people. Y'all got to sit there and realize that. If you didn't hear Moses, that was one thing. You don't hear Yahshua, you gonna die. Huh? You hear Yahshua's voice when he talking. Because you got to remember now, everything from Genesis to the end of the book, that's him talking, isn't it? It's no longer the law and the prophets talking. It's the Son talking. Because all of it's him. And if you don't hear him, you surely gonna perish. He said it shall come to pass, verse 24. He said, yea, and all the prophets from Samuel, those that follow after, as many as have spoken, have likewise foretold these days. Ye are the children of the prophets, and of the covenant which God made with our fathers, saying unto Abraham, in thy seed shall all the kindreds of the earth be blessed. And unto you first, God, having raised up his son Yahshua, sent him to bless you, and turning away every one of you from his iniquities. Because he said he doesn't call you to come on to it then. See, we read that last night when he said the promises to you and them that are far off, as many as y'all should call. So we've got to sit there and looking at it. If the man is calling you to come part of his house, why are you hesitant to move your feet? Why are you dragging your feet? You know what they call it. You know what they call foot draggers around here. You don't want to be no foot dragger when it comes to the house of Yah.
That's what they call them.
Yeah. You don't want to be no foot dragger when it comes to the house of Yah. And you really don't want to be considered no foot dragger in the sense when you hear Pastor Smith use it, because he's talking about what he call them knuckle draggers and foot. But they're talking like cavemen. That means simpletons. You know what I'm talking about? People of very low grade intellect. You don't want to be no foot dragger, man. Don't be dragging your feet on your salvation, man. That man say be diligent and move. Don't be hesitating and putting it off, because look here now, it'll cost you your life. Go back to Job 14. Look what he say in verse 8. He say, though the root thereof wax old in the earth, and the stock thereof die in the ground, he say, yea, yet through the scent of water it will bud and bring forth boughs like a plant. So let's look at something. Let's look at Romans 8. He said it's going to send forth water. We know Yahshua sent forth water, didn't he? That's how he was able to bud and bring forth boughs. Remember, boughs is branches. We already know that Yahshua was raised by the Spirit to come up out the grave. That's how that was able to happen. But look at verse 23 of Romans 8. Matter of fact, make it 21. I want to say 19. We'll go 19. He say, for the earnest expectation of the creature wait for the manifestation of the sons of God. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who has subjected the same in hope. See, we weren't willingly made subject to nothing, was we? But that would come from Adam's disobedience. So now he said we've been waiting for the earnest expectation to become the sons of God. We were able to become the sons of God when he watered that root, that bud that was in the ground then. So he was able to bring forth branches. We were able to become sons then, weren't we? Because you got to be connected to the root. And then you bring forth fruit. And we know the saying in the world, the fruit don't fall, the apple don't fall far from the tree. You know what I'm talking about? Yahshua was just like his daddy. We're supposed to be just like him. So that's the earnest expectation for the manifestation of the sons of God. When this man is budded and he come up out of the earth and bring forth fruit, i.e. branches. Look what he said in verse 21. He said, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. Remember how we looked in twofold things in Esther and in Deuteronomy, talking about us being delivered from bondage, right? Now you can see the correlation. You see how the Lord tying all this stuff in together, what we done started out with, that all of it made sense and rolling together. I thank the Lord. Because I was wondering how we were going to do it, and he got it done. You know what I'm talking about? Now you see this here? Through the blood of this man, through this man's spirit and his sacrifice, now we've been able to be delivered from the bondage of the world and from sin, that we can have the freedom which will make us the children of God. That's why you can't be looking at what you can't do and what you're restricted from. Look at what you can do. You have liberty. You have freedom. The people that's of the world, the people that are sinners, the people that are carnal, these Gentiles, do they have freedom? See, even though we in a land that where we subject the people in captivity, yet we have freedom. We have freedom from sin, which means we have freedom from death. What get any better than that? Look what he said. Listen to what the man tell you. Because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. You got to sit there and say, this man done delivered you from sin. That you can have freedom. He said, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. There is liberty. There is freedom. You should be seeking that type of freedom. Our people seek the freedom that's carnal and that's of men. They don't seek the freedom that's of God. Why we won't seek that? Why you ain't protesting in front of God and saying, I'm going to turn my way and seek you so I can be free? Nigga, I ain't walking around here with no picket sign talking about I want freedom. I'm going to picket sin so I can get true freedom. Hence why the name of the first YouTube channel is called Jesus for True Freedom. Because that's the only way you're going to get true freedom. I don't know if that's why Nell named it that, but I'm willing to wager it is. Because that's the only way you're going to get true freedom. You think y'all can get true freedom from anything else? Don't worry, I'll wait. Obviously, nobody don't think they can. Look at verse 23. And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves grown within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body. So now he's talking about getting that spiritual body. But you see, they were the first fruits of the Spirit, meaning they were the first ones that brought them branches, wasn't it? First ones that received that. But look what he said in verse 24. Y'all keep this in mind. He said, for we are saved by hope. But hope that is seen is not hope. For what a man see, why doth he yet hope for? For if we hope for that we see not, then we do with patience wait for it. See, a lot of people don't want to wait on God on certain things. And then the certain things that we do want to wait on, who says it's of God? When it comes to waiting on his Spirit, y'all got to be patient enough to put in the work so you can do what's necessary to receive it. Y'all want it quick. But I'm telling you right now, ain't no quick fix of getting no Spirit. Because your hope is to be redeemed, to be transformed into the Spirit of the living God. They have that spiritual body, the same body the Lord had. You're not going to get it if you ain't going to die. Because that man went in the grave 3 days and 3 nights. He fasted. I mean, he afflicted his soul. He was afflicted for 3 days and 3 nights. You niggas can't afflict yourself to cease from sin. When the man told you to take up your cross and bear it. Afflict yourself in the flesh and suffer in the flesh that you might cease from sin so I can redeem you, that you can have hope that you might be saved at my coming. Niggas ain't even willing to do that. You willing to do everything else, but you ain't willing to do what's necessary to save your soul alive. You got to sit there and ask yourself, can I be so stupid? Can I be so simple? How long I'm going to stay like this? You know what I'm saying? Sit there and look at that. How long am I going to stay like this? You know what I'm talking about? For real now. Consider your life and what you got going on. Let's go back to this Job 14 and get ready to wrap this up. Now, everybody all right? Y'all all right? Y'all need good and quiet. No, we ain't gonna deal with that. Let's go back to Esther so we get done. We'll deal with that Job part of Job 14 another day. We ain't gonna deal with it tonight. We ain't gonna deal with it tonight. Let me get back in here. See what we got. Now we doing this here. It's something. One other thing I want to show y'all. It's two things. It's something in Psalms and it's something in Hosea, and we'll be done. Psalms 31, y'all, because we pretty much deal good in that one. Now it's gonna tie in back to what we were dealing with in Job. It's how to work in. Psalms 31, verse 1. He say, in thee, O Yah, do I put my trust. Let me never be ashamed. Deliver me in thy righteousness. Bow down thy ear to me. Deliver me speedily. Be thou my strong rock, for a house of defense to save me. For thou art my rock and my fortress. Therefore, for thy name's sake, lead me and guide me. Pull me out of the net they have laid privily for me, for thou art my strength. Now let's look at Hebrews 5, because he's asking this man to bow down his ear and deliver him in his righteousness. Let's see if the book testifies if the Father heard this man. In Hebrews 5, verse 7. Hebrews 5 and 7. He said, who in the days of his flesh, when he offered up prayers and supplications with strong crying and tears unto him that was able to save him from death, was heard and that he feared. Reason why the Lord don't hear us a lot of y'all, because y'all don't fear him. See, if you feared him, he hear you. Since you don't fear him, he don't hear you. Look what else he say. And though he were a son, yet he learned obedience from the things which he suffered, and being made perfect, he became the author of eternal salvation unto all them that obey him. See, that's the same thing happened with Mordecai during the time of Esther. They were going through sufferings, but through all that suffering, they obeyed God, and he delivered them. They didn't go back crying like this. When the Lord was going through what he was going through, he didn't seek after Pilate. Pilate said, don't you know I have power to deliver thee? You know what the Lord told him? You ain't got no power over me whatsoever. He said, you ain't have no authority over me unless it was given to you from heaven. You have to sit there and look at that. Anything that you're going through or dealing with, it can't happen unless God gives authority for it to happen. And a lot of time the stuff that you're going through and dealing with is to have you come out better at the latter end. Go back to Psalm 31. Look at verse 5. I want to see if any of y'all know when the Lord spoke these words. Any of y'all know when the Lord spoke these words right here? Look what he say. Into thy hand I commit my spirit. Thou hast redeemed me, O God, God of truth. Any of y'all know when the Lord said that? Any of y'all know the Lord said that? Is any of y'all aware that he said that? Ain't nobody aware that he said that? Unbelievable. Yeah, he did. But y'all know, any of y'all know where it's at? Oh yeah, it's in the book. He said that word for word. Let's go look at Luke 24. Look at Luke 24, y'all. Luke 23, pardon me. About verse 45. Huh? Garden or what? What garden you talking about? Make it 4. Yeah, make it 44. He said it was about the 6th hour, and there was darkness over all the earth until the 9th hour. Nicole, gonna hit this thing on because I want to ask Brittany, do she remember? Brittany, why did it go dark from the 6th hour to the 9th hour? What scripture is that bear witness? That bear witness that was going to happen. Do you remember? He just said here in verse 44, it was about the 6th hour, and there was darkness over all the earth until the 9th hour. Hold on. And verse 45 too. And the sun was darkened, and the veil of the temple was rent in the midst. Why did the sun go dark from the 6th hour to the 9th hour? Do you remember what scripture that was? Because we dealt with this. That's good. That's true. That is true as well. You remember that aspect. That's what we was looking for. But that's outstanding. I'm thank the Lord you remember that specifically. No, well, praise the Lord too. He just beat you to the point. But there was something else that I'm looking for. Remember that when it went dark, that it got to be dark with the Passover lamb. But I'm talking about specifically where he said he would make it go dark at this time period. Now, that's fine and dandy too. But no, remember Amos 8, he said, I will make the sun go down at noon. You remember that little month? That's why it went dark. That's why he specifically say from the 6th hour to the 9th hour, because he said in Amos 8 and 8, let's go on and look at it, because I see no one remember. But that was good though, Brittany and Drew, that y'all remember that with the Passover lamb, because that was most specific. That wasn't what we was looking for, but I'm not mad at the responses either way. Look at Amos 8 and 8. Or 8 and 9 actually. It's 8 and 9 we want. Just 8 and 9. Amos 8 and 9. And it says, it shall come to pass in that day, saith Yah, that I will cause the sun to go down at noon, and I will darken the earth in the clear day. So you see, it had to be dark like this. That just wasn't for no reason. I just mentioned that to see if you remember. But y'all remember the Passover lamb, and that's just as good. Just as good. But we just wanted that one there. But I appreciate y'all for remembering that. Now let's look at verse 46. And when Yahshua had cried with a loud voice, he said, Father, into thy hands I commend my spirit. Having said thus, he gave up the ghost. Now you see why that's in Psalms 31. Now you see he just said they ain't written there for nothing, did he? He spent that word for word, didn't he? He had to, because he didn't let it be known. I know you're going to redeem me from this grave. Now where we going to go? We want verse 10? Let's make it verse 11. Psalms 31. We're going to go there. We're going to finish in Hosea 5 and we're going to call it a night. Psalms 31 again. We're going to look at verse 11. Because wasn't Haman a reproach? Mordecai a reproach? Haman was going off on him, wasn't he? We got to kill him, doing all this here. Mordecai ain't did nothing. Look what he said right here. He said, I was a reproach among all my enemies. Mordecai was too, but look at the difference though. But especially among my neighbors. And a fear to my acquaintance, they that did see me without fled from me. Remember that said? Now we could have put that in dealing with Peter then, didn't we? You see how that's talking about Peter? He said especially his neighbors now. He said he was a reproach among his neighbors. What the people speaking evil of him? We're going to read what the people speaking evil of him. But then what you said, his acquaintance, he said they saw me and they fled. Didn't Peter them see him and flee? Did the disciples see him and flee? He said, I'm forgotten as a dead man, out of mind. I'm like a broken vessel. Didn't Peter forget him? Say, I don't know this man. That's what people happen when they die. What they say when out of sight and out of what? Out of mind. Peter like, yeah, I don't know him. He said, for I have heard the slander of many. Fear was on every side while they took counsel together against me, and they devised to take away my life. Anybody know what the word slander means? You know what it means to slander somebody? Slander to somebody is to speak lies against them and denigrate someone's name falsely. That's what it means to slander somebody. You speak against them falsely. You know what I'm talking about? So now let's look at something. Let's see what they slandered the man. Let's look at Luke. What we want to use here for Luke? Luke 22, about verse 63. He said, the men that held Yahshua mocked him and smote him. Didn't it sound like that's the people reproaching him? Not only were they mocking the man, they slapping him. How many of y'all could be willing to have somebody mock you and slap you in your face at the same time? Because these his enemies now. He said he'll reproach to all his enemies. And he said he heard slander while they taking counsel to take his life away. He said when they had blindfolded him, they struck him on the face and asked him, saying, prophesy, who is it that smote thee? And many other things blasphemously spake they against him. And as soon as it was they, the elders of the people and the chief priests and the scribes came together and led him into their council, saying, art thou the Messiah? Tell us. And he said unto them, if I tell you, you will not believe. See, that's the whole key thing. When people tell you what God say, y'all don't believe it. He's sitting here telling you, you want me to tell you, am I the Messiah? But if I tell you, you're not going to believe me. Look what else he say. He said, hereafter shall you see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of the power of God. And then said they all, art thou the Son of God? And he said unto them, ye say that I am. And they said, we have no further witness. We ourselves have heard of his own mouth. Did he say he was the Son of God? Or did he sit there and tell him, you say I am? He said, but y'all gonna see me coming from the right hand of God to bring wrath on you niggas. Because these people slandering this man on every side. Sitting there saying he was this and he was saying he was that. Hold on. Let me see, look at Matthew. I think Matthew, they got even most specific on what they were saying about him. See, that's why the book was testifying of the suffering. That's why Paul he said, I say this now and even weeping, that there's some men that are enemy of the cross. See, some of the people, they enemies of the suffering of the Messiah. And they don't want to suffer. So they sit there and tell you, don't believe that suffering servant doctrine. Or don't believe like this. You ain't got to suffer. God wants you to prosper. He wants you to have this here. That's why they're not a God. That's why they can't see. Because niggas who ain't willing to suffer definitely not going to see the sufferings of the Lord. What did you say? He said he would leave it amongst his people an afflicted and a poor people. A people who going to go through sufferings. He said they going to trust in the name of y'all. That's what he said in Zephaniah. They're going to trust in the name of y'all. See, a lot of y'all don't trust in God because you ain't been afflicted good enough. You still got stuff. You still ain't been afflicted good enough to where you'll learn obedience. Let me see what it is. Look at verse 61 in Matthew 26. Make it 59. Look what he say. Now the chief priests and the elders and all the council saw false witness against Yahshua to put him to death, but found none. Yea, though many false witnesses came, yet found they none. And at the last came 2 false witnesses, and said, this fellow said, I'm able to destroy the temple of God and raise it in 3 days. And the high priest arose and said unto him, answer thou nothing? What is it which these witnesses witness against thee? Are they not slandering? Just lying on the man. Just lying on the man. You know what I'm talking about? They called him a deceiver at the end of Matthew when they was talking about that grave. Remember what he said? He said, in verse 63, saying, sir, we remember that the deceiver said while he was yet alive, after 3 days, I'll rise again. You know what I'm talking about? Slandering the man for no reason. and they took counsel together against him to take away his life. Now look at Hosea. But he say, but look at verse 14 first in that Psalm 31. He say, but I trusted in thee, Yah. O Yah, I said, thou art my God. My times are in thy hand. Deliver me from the hand of my enemies and from them that persecute me. Make thy face to shine upon thy servant and save me for thy mercy's sake. And that's what he did, didn't he? For the mercies of God for us to be saved, he delivered this man from death. Hosea 5, about verse 9. He delivered us from death. See, now y'all have to sit there and look at that. You need to have the same type of mind the Messiah had. Because remember, Paul said, you had the mind of the world. We had the mind of Christ. See, if you got the mind of Christ, you'll be willing to stand on God's word and trust him. That's actually Hosea 6 and 9. Hosea 6 and 9. But see, a lot of y'all don't trust the Lord, man. Not enough to trust him with your whole life. Not enough to trust him with your whole being. You ain't got to that point yet. Some of y'all will get there. Some of y'all haven't got there yet. Some of y'all still dragging your feet. Hosea 6 and 9. He's saying, as a troop of robbers wait for a man, so the company of priests murder in the way by consent, for they commit lewdness. Let's look at Matthew 26, verse 1. He say, troop of robbers wait for a man, and the priests by consent commit murder. Let's see if these priests did exactly that. Matthew 26, verse 1. Because I'm going to read that Hosea 6 and 9 one more time. Because that's what Haman was doing, wasn't he? He was waiting by with some troops for some robbers, right? To commit murder. He just didn't do it with no priest. Then he say, so the company of priests murder in the way by consent. So if they consent, that means they're agreeing together, right? And he told you in the law, don't consent to no false matter. He said, it came to pass when Yahshua had finished all these things, he said unto his disciples, ye know that after 2 days is the feast of Passover, and the Son of Man is betrayed to be crucified. Then assembled together the chief priests and the scribes and the elders of the people unto the palace of the high priest, who was called Caiaphas. And they consulted that they might take Yahshua by subtlety and kill him. But they say, not on the feast day, lest there be an uproar among the people. Sounds like them troops waiting by like some robbers ain't to kill this man. And they said these are the priests that were doing it. So you know what that's going to have to sit back and look at? When it go down, who you think going to be the people going to be plotting to kill those who serve the living God? Hey, Glover, we can hear you, Glover, we can hear you. All right, then. So y'all understand that? Now you see how the chief priest sat back and conspired to kill this man, and by subtlety, y'all got to sit back and look at it. That's what sinners out here trying to do. See, I want y'all to look at something. Go to 2 Corinthians 11. We'll end it there. Verse 3. I want y'all to look at 2 Corinthians 11 and 3. This is what he tell you now. He says, but I fear lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety, so your mind should be corrupted from the simplicity that's in the Messiah. See, I be fearing that for some of y'all, that y'all gonna mess around and y'all gonna let the serpent beguile y'all through his craftiness. Because that's what it means to be subtle. You know what I'm saying? Subtle or subtlety. The 2 Corinthians 11 and 3. And I see, I be worried about that by some of y'all. Because y'all gonna let people who serpents, who are the devil, beguile y'all doing the use of craftiness, and it's gonna cost you y'all life. Because that's what happened to Eve, didn't it? It cost her a life because she let this man deceive her through his craftiness. And you sit there and you wander and you mess around with people and they going to get you through their craftiness. The man said, don't let nobody turn you from Christ. This thing is simple. It's very simple. All it is hear the word, believe the word, obey the word. The thing is very simple. See, listen what here. We ended at verse 4. He said, for he that come preaching another Yahshua, see that Yahshua, that Jesus, that Yahweh, whatever name they want to use out here, a lot of these nigga preachers, they not preaching that man that written in his book. I heard some dudes twist some scriptures the other night. It was just utterly appalling. I'll speak on that after the lesson, done. But nevertheless, he said, for he that preach another Yahshua whom we have not preached, or if you receive another spirit which you have not received, or another gospel which you have not accepted, you might bear well with him. Y'all need to understand that and know that. If somebody come preaching y'all a Messiah that's not according to this book, or preaching another gospel, or you receiving another spirit that you ain't been received, you need to get away from. Some people, that's verse 4. Some people say that's being in a cult. Some people say that being this, that being that. But I'm sitting there telling you, you better watch them. That's the book told you to get away from it then. Is that me telling you to get away from them? Paul saying, boy, if they bringing something to you different, because that's what Eve's supposed to do. What? She's supposed to flee. That's not what God told me to do. I know what I've been taught. I know what I've been assured of. Paul say, knowing that you've known the Holy Scriptures from a youth, be assured of what you have learned and who you learned it from. You got to know what you got and hold fast to it. Don't let nobody come through and get you like Eve got. But blessed be the Father in the name of Yahshua. Y'all understood all of these things? Everybody understood all this here? Everybody good?